Hello everyone, my name is Lowko and welcome to another StarCraft 2 video. Now what I got for you today is something a little bit different. This is indeed going to be a viewer submitted replay. However, the thing is that the vast majority of the games that I cast, of games that are submitted by viewers, there are replays of players between, I would say, Bronze League all the way up to Platinum League, with the vast majority of them being from players from Silver League all the way up to Gold. I think that's where the majority of the games are from. Regardless, this game that I've got for you today is between two Master League players. And the thing is, this is indeed going to be Terran versus Terran. It is a matchup that doesn't really allow for a lot of wiggle room. So I'm really curious to see where things do get mixed up, because there's no denying that in pretty much all of the viewer submitted games that I've ever uploaded, something crazy is gonna happen. And now Motless called this replay, let me have a look. He called it Distraction Tactics. I don't really know exactly what that means, but I'm excited to find out. Anyways, let's go ahead and get started by introducing the players. Spawning here in the bottom right-hand corner of Acid Plant Alley, he's indeed in Master League, and he goes by the name of Coolio. And his opponent, also in Master League, he's playing with the blue Terran SCVs, and he goes by the name of Jeff. Jeff. I mean, I would like to imagine that Jeff, when he first made his account, when he first logged into StarCraft 2, he had to come up with a nickname. He's like, well, my people call me Jeff, just because that's what my name is. But ever since then, he's embraced the memes and he's been part of Clan Cutie Club. Jeff in Clan Cutie Club. I love it already. That's a tongue twister right there. Try and say that 3 times fast. Anyways, Jeff decides to open up a little bit greedy here. He actually delayed the gases by quite a little while. Now on this map, you can kind of get away with it. Obviously, Jeff won't really have a lot of scouting information here either, since he did not send an SCV across the map. He could make a bunker here near the front, and since there's there's no ramp here to jump up into the main base with the opposing Reaper, I do think he's gonna be fine. I actually really like this. Usually when players, play a strategy like this, it shows that they play this strategy only on maps where your opponent's Reaper cannot just simply jump into the main base. It's a really cute little move, and it shows that Jeff knows what he's all about. The thing is, though, Coolio could still try and squeeze by that bunker as well. But now with the second Marine finishing, I think he's gonna be in a pretty good spot. Now look at that timing. Wonderfully done there by Jeff. Great micro here actually as well. And Jeff actually got a try. Ooh, nicely done. Coolio catch. Coolio, I was just gonna compliment your micro. I was gonna say Coolio catches it and he just simply runs away, but no. He runs away for a little bit and then loops back around and sort of sacrifices the Reaper to the Blood God. A little bit disappointed there in Coolio, but so far, everything is looking pretty normal. Thing is though, Jeff is completely in the darkness, and if there's one unit that's really good against pretty much everything, it is gonna be the Cyclone. Coolio here indeed also now going for that Cyclone already. I'm assuming with the double factory coming up, Jeff is likely gonna be producing 2 of those here at once in just a little bit as well. Bit of a different kind of opener here, but I think they're both arriving at a very similar mid-game here in just a little bit. Now of course, in Terran versus Terran, you can go for bio, you can go for mech, you can go for a very big variety of units, but usually in the early game, I would say that Cyclones are gonna be the go-to for pretty much all players. I mean, if you're playing Terran versus Terran right now and you're not making Cyclones, you're doing something wrong, okay? Cyclones are absolutely phenomenal. They have this nasty tendency. Ooh, Coolio with the greedy third, I love it. We'll talk about that in just a little bit, but the thing is that Cyclones sort of have this nasty tendency to just sort of kill everything before 100 army supply. I mean, if there's a bunch of siege tanks, they will just simply shut them down, and they are not cheap by any stretch of the imagination, but they do fire really quickly. They're definitely like glass cannons. Now, he's going to be moving across the map with a couple of SCVs. I think they are meant for repair. Already, though, we see a missile turret coming up here for Jeff. He's going to be forced to defend here, though. One Hero Marine scouting what's going on. He will indeed report back to the Terran Dominion that there is now a big force right at his front door. There we go. Beautiful repair here so far by Jeff. The same can be said for Coolio. He's trying to make sure that all of these Cyclones stay alive. Ooh, one of them ends up dying there. A little bit of miss micro once again, although Jeff may very well make a similar mistake here in just a little bit. An eye for an eye. Both players losing a little bit here and there. Now, Coolio did decide to go for a really quick third command center. And I think this is mostly just because he's realized, hey, wait a second, my opponent is not scouting. Jeff is going to go for his own third right now, but while his natural is much faster, his third is indeed going to be quite a bit later. Coolio, supply-wise, he's finally catching up right now, and with that 3rd CC already done, I do think that he's gonna be in a really good economical position, and this is one of the things that you can do if your opponent is playing, you know, very passive, right? Jeff didn't really show him any reason to not take that 3rd base. I mean, there hasn't really been a lot of aggression here whatsoever from Jeff. I mean, Jeff hasn't really... I think the furthest he went forward was just with 1 Marine there. He hasn't really gone very many places just yet. Siege tank's now coming up though, and obviously that does indicate that he is gonna be making that switch towards other units here in just a bit. Now Jeff, he's playing his own style, right? So he went for the bunker at the front, no Reaper Scout, quick expansion into the double factory, and now he's following it up with double starport and like a ring of missile turrets. I know there's gonna be like one Brood War nerd looking at this right now. He's getting really excited. Indeed, he is getting himself a ring of missile turrets around the main base. Something we would see a lot in StarCraft 1 in particular, although, I mean, that's 5 missile turrets already. We haven't seen any flying units on this side of the map whatsoever, and Coolio, he's just playing something a little bit more standard. Both players stuck at 69 supply. Can I make a 69 joke yet? Is that... I'm 12 years old, by the way, and I think that's hilarious. You already made it in your head now, so we're good. It does look like we have a pretty standard follow-up here, though, from Coolio. He's gonna go for that bio-based army. Barracks now coming up, of course, and he's going to be transitioning now finally towards that combat shield upgrade here as well, after already finishing up his Stimpaks. Whereas on the other side of the map, Jeff is going to be playing that mech-based force instead. So I recently did a game, actually, of MMA versus Alive. Also a Terran versus Terran, where one of the players decided to go for bio and the other one decided to go for mech. It's a very interesting dynamic, although Coolio seems to be going for... Look at this, right? Both players playing something a little bit unorthodox. He's going for like a hit squad of Marauders and Cyclones. And obviously Marauders now do a lot more damage to armor than they once did. Still, though, these are siege tanks. They do not mess around, although that one just on siege right when these units move up. Not exactly what you want to do if you're Jeff, and all of a sudden, right, the majority of these units will end up taking a bit of a beating. He is going to move forward. Coolio, that is. He's once again going to drop the majority of his units off over here, but with these Vikings already up in the air, I think that Jeff will be able to clean that up. Little bit of an unfortunate unsiege there, right? I think he was gonna, you know, reposition the tanks that he had, but he did manage to clean that up, and he's even going, I just realized that, for the planetary fortress at the 3rd base location. Don't know exactly what rank we're talking about in Master League right here, but usually we would expect an orbital command on the 3rd base, just because you're going to be able to relatively easily, defend that. Obviously, if you have trouble defending against a lot of his aggression, I guess going for a planetary is okay. But the thing is, mules are not to be undervalued, and obviously in TVT, scanning is super important as well. Well, so far this is a relatively normal game. We now see a couple of the Raven upgrades here coming up for Jeff. He's going to try and get as many of those mechanical upgrades as he possibly can. In the meantime, on the other side of the map, Coolio has already secured himself a 4th base. We are seeing a lot of unit-producing structures here from our player in red. So he's going to really try and pump out those units. But everything considered, right, this is looking like a pretty standard game so far. This is looking like a pretty normal game so far. I mean, I've casted, like, basically the reason why I'm so skeptical, right? I've casted dozens and dozens and dozens of these viewer-submitted games so far, and pretty much all of them come with a bit of a twist. I guess in Silver League and in Gold League, you're not really, you know, as forced into a set early game, just because players will not really punish you as hard if you play a little bit too greedy or if you make a little bit too many units. I guess at this level of play, it's harder to do so, and usually in the Silver League games, for example, we see the crazy starting right from the get-go. I mean, I want to believe. I want to believe. Coolio. I mean, it's probably just gonna be for Liberator ranged, but he's getting himself the Fusion Core right now, which does open up the tech path towards, of course, the Battlecruiser. Now, he doesn't have any tech labs, only have the starports just yet, so I don't think it's gonna be that interesting, but I want to believe, man. I want to believe. Now, a lot of Ravens are coming up here for Jeff. Jeff did get the memo that the Raven has been nerfed a bunch, right? He does know about this, right? Anti-armor missile, not as potent as it once was. There, indeed, we do see the that's one way of defending against that, I suppose. We do see the auto turrets coming up. Thing is, though, they last only a couple of seconds. I guess enough for these Ravens to get to a little bit more safety. Jeff now going for the 4th base here as well, also morphing that one into a planetary fortress, but Coolio has now arrived at the front door. Siege tanks will be shut down, even the Vikings are landed, and that does mean that this 4th base will be forced to get cancelled, and maybe we'll see an anti-armor missile. Nope. We're just seeing another sacrifice to the blood god there. And with the majority of the units of Coolio now moving across the map, Jeff is in a little bit of trouble. Because look at this. Coolio is playing this brilliantly. This is the way that you want to play that bio-based Terran style. Very similar to what we saw MMA do in the game that we... or rather, our live do in the game that he played against MMA. Massive spending. Getting himself orbital commands everywhere. Lots of scouting with these sensor towers as well. Really just simply trying to out-macro his opponent and just simply get a ton of units out while pushing at several different angles at once. More and more starports are coming up, and now another fusion core as well as 3 command centers. Jeff is definitely not giving up. Oh my god, Jeff. Oh yes. Jeff has got himself a lot of these ravens already. He did lose a few. I think he tried to sacrifice some of them just to make sure that the Terran gods would be satisfied. Turns out this Terran god in Coolio is not ready for it just yet. We are seeing that fusion core. It's just about to finish up. There's already flyer weapon upgrades. I think Jeff is gonna go for a Battlecruiser switch. Please, oh dude, he's got four starports waiting. He's got minerals saved up, Jeff. You've got almost 800 gas. That's all you need. Oh my god, he timed that out pretty well as well. Jeff is going to be able to start up 4 Battlecruisers. Jeff, don't disappoint me. Oh, whoa, that's 3. That's 3. I guess he, you know, he's not quite starting anything up in the 4th one just yet, but we do see the Ravens moving across the map. Battlecruisers coming up. Yamato gun being researched as well. And apparently, these Raven, they're going for a bit of a hit squad across the map. Now, Coolio is playing relatively passive here. Obviously, auto turrets, man, they do a lot of damage. This is not to be underestimated. Their DPS is probably as high as Locusts. I don't know if you've ever played against the Zerg who's going for a lot of Locusts. Look at that! Woo! Are they actually... No way! I've never seen that before. That is 4 Ravens that went for a bit of a hit squad. Now, they are also making a beeline straight towards the main base. Ugh, you really want to try and keep those alive, man. Anti-armor missiles are still phenomenal, even though their damage output is not as high. You definitely want to try and keep those alive. Now, one apparently does live to tell the tale, but all of the other Raven brothers ended up going down there. 4 Battlecruisers now being researched here for Jeff. I mean, Coolio is making all the right moves, but I feel like he's playing a little bit too passive. We all know what happens once this Terran mech army maxes out, right? In particular, when we're talking Battlecruisers. There are already a lot of Vikings out there. Obviously, we see a lot of those Marines as well. Vikings currently landed. That's not where you want them to be. Yamato gun is being used there, or Yamato cannon, rather, is being used there on that. Oh, he's got a mass recall. Oh, my. Dude, he's got a recall to the other side of the map. Oh my god, Yamato cannons was being used right there on the Raven, and all of a sudden Jeff is harassing his opponent on the other side of the map rather than trying to use these units defensively. And Coolio, he's unsure what to do. Coolio, you just want to push, my man. I think that's the way to do, or that's the way to go about it. You don't need your entire army to clean this up. And all of a sudden, Jeff manages to pick up another base. Coolio, probably for the very first time in his life, facing off against, you know, the sudden Battlecruiser switch, or at the very least, he probably hasn't faced against this until... Or since he was in Silver League. Not something very common. And now once again though, Jeff being very careless here with the units that he does have. Not a Battlecruiser decided to teleport across the map. It's now going after the other base right over here. Do feel like part of that army of Coolio should have been split up though, and should have been moving into the main and the natural location, because Jeff, all he really needs is time. Now he's being very careless with the units that he does have. Look, he's just gonna Yamato cannon something and then... yeah, let the Battlecruiser go down. Look at that. Not a whole lot remains here. A couple of Hellions just to rub in the salt. They swoop in. He's being really careless with his units, and that's one of the things that can easily become a bit of an issue when you are indeed the Terran mech player. Basically, your army is strongest when it maxes out. Coolio has been maxed out for a while already. His force is absolutely menacing. Now, even getting some Thors as well, which is very, very nice. Jeff, though, is only sitting at 165 supply right now. He did get himself a few bases, but these Widow Mines that have been out on the map since the very beginning are being super helpful here as well. They just simply are meant for scouting right now. Not a Battlecruiser was moved across the map, but look, that hurts, man. That hurts. Now, Battlecruisers aren't being used very often at all in this matchup. They're very good once you get there. Oh my god, that's a flower. Look at that. A blue flame Hellion flower. It's absolutely beautiful. I want those for, you know, any kind of anniversary, I guess. I've never gotten flowers, man. I just said that. I'm like, wait a second. What occasion have I ever received flowers at? I'm trying to think. I don't think I've ever received flowers, but it does look beautiful. And if I ever do get them, I want to make sure that I get a blue flame Hellion flower. Here we go, though. The Terran bio army is now moving across the map. Coolio has had enough. He's recognized that, wait a second. My opponent, oh my god, he just stimped everything. Nothing was even close yet. He just realized that something was not quite right. Now, immediately, one Battlecruiser, it gets mass recalled across the map, and Coolio snipes the base, but then he walks everything back. You don't need your entire army, man. Use hotkeys. This is the F2A move syndrome right here, guys. Or at the very least, I think that's what it is, because look at this, right? Jeff is doing a phenomenal job microing several different angles at once. Hellbat's moving on the other side. We see Hellions now moving into the fourth, as well as a Battlecruiser still going to town over here. And Coolio, I mean, he's moving around everything in one big chunk. Considering they're in Master League, right? If I could give Coolio one tip, it is most definitely that he should be looking to start splitting up his units into different chunks. Look at this. He's taking so much unnecessary damage just because he's moving his army around in one big group. Finally, we do see a bit of a split off. Much too late, though, as the damage was already dealt. And Jeff, I mean, while he isn't quite mining over here, he tried to land. Why can't a command center, by the way, not land on top of a Widow Mine? Can someone explain that to me? Like, they don't even, it's not like the center base of the command center touches the ground. Right? It shouldn't be much of an issue. But anyways, the Marine Marauder Ball, though, is dwindling. And at the same time, the Battlecruiser count, while it was being controlled very carelessly, who called in the fleet? It's here. Right? The fleet is coming up. 4 more are being produced at any given moment. There we go. Jeff is queuing up more and more of them. Still trying his very best. Finally, Coolio is doing a good job splitting up his units a little bit more. Now leaving part of that army across the map. But look at that, Jeff. Now going after the attachments, I suppose. He knows that there aren't going to be that many. Oh my god, this is so dirty. These flew across the map as well, so they can be microed. Oh, yeah. Oh, well, no, he did not get him. He tried to go for the Yamato gun instead. I keep calling it Yamato gun. What is better, Yamato cannon or Yamato gun? Let me know down below in the comment section. I'm more of a Yamato gun kind of guy. Obviously, in StarCraft 1, it was called Yamato gun, and in StarCraft 2, it's called Yamato cannon. I kind of like the sound of Yamato gun, but anyways, I guess cannon is going to be a little bit of a better word. Regardless, though, these Battlecruisers in the main base have been a bit of a nuisance for a little while already. Coolio now trying to produce his own Battlecruisers. Oh my god. Coolio, you madman. He's producing 3 of them right over here. We see Battlecruiser on Battlecruiser action. That's a Terran wet dream right there. There's like one Terran player watching this getting real excited about it. Oh my god, he's gonna be able to intercept here quite comfortably as well. Thing is, though, sometimes in the battle of Battlecruisers, all that matters is the amount you have. Some people say that size doesn't matter, but in Battlecruiser counts, better is certainly, or bigger is certainly better. I mean, look at that. The amount that is hanging out over here is definitely gonna beat this army. Defensive Battlecruisers, though, they can be used quite comfortably as well, but look at this. I think he's gonna just mass recall. Beep. They're gone. It's called tactical recall, I think, or tactical jump. That's it. It's basically mass recall. It's the same thing. Couple of Hellbats now, though, making their way towards that low ground base. Coolio did secure that one over here, and while he lost the majority of production in the main base, he's now rebuilding about a gazillion barracks right over here on the low ground as well, rather than just simply producing out of the ones that he has. These these SCVs are huddling together in fear. They're a little bit scared. They're holding, I don't know, gear, I guess. They're just holding hands, trying to make sure that, they don't feel all too threatened. At the same time, though, the Marine, I guess the Marine Battlecruiser army is stimming across the map. That is still a lot of Marines that are left over, but if there's one thing that Marines are pretty weak against, it is going to be maxed out Battlecruisers. Jeff is dealing so much damage. All these little shots that are firing down to the ground. Yeah, look at that. Once you get to critical mass of Battlecruisers, they will just shut down any Marine-based force. I mean, you can stim forward. That was a lot of Marines there. That was a lot. And Coolio is actually trying to respond to this by making more Marines. I've got a feeling that Marines is not really going to be the answer. I got a feeling that Mass Viking is going to be vastly superior. Imagine if Jeff didn't lose all of the Ravens and the majority of the Battlecruisers that he sent out in this game so far. If his control was a little bit better. Considering this is already going up against someone in Master League as well, right? There is a lot of potential with a strategy like this. Coolio not out of this game, though. He's got a very solid amount of economy still. He was maxed out for a very long time, and while his economy isn't as booming anymore, look at that. They rain from the sky, still a lot of orbital commands available. I actually feel like you should have dropped them off over here, because this base is running out very quickly, and these mules are going to be waiting for each other. Regardless, the more time he gives his opponent here, right, the more Battlecruisers will come out on the map. And Battlecruisers, of course, can easily make or break the game. I mean, the command center, yeah, that was a really slow response time there. The command center taking a lot of damage. Still, though, look at the oh my god, look at the Battlecruiser fleet. How many is that? 11 Battlecruisers right now against 17 Marine and only 1. Now, there is one nuke and a dream. Coolio doesn't, does he have a ghost? No, he does not have any ghosts, but he does have a dream. Hellbats now making their way once again over towards that side of the map. Battlecruisers will be fighting off these missile turrets. Well, missile turrets are pretty good against 1 or 2 of them, but against this amount, I think that the Battlecruisers will easily be able to win that. At the same time, the Marine Marauder Ball is now stimming forward to try and get rid of one of those planetaries. They may very well be able to do so, but at the same time, he's losing one of the planetaries at home as well. Hellbats still trying to see if they can get rid of the majority of those unit-producing facilities as well. Planetary Fortress definitely is going to end up taking critical damage, but so will the one on the other side of the map. Jeff is going to town with so many Battlecruisers. This is so silly. He played his own way. He played his own way to get here, and somehow, some way, he's making this work. I actually think there's a lot of potential for improvement here as well, right? Whenever he's got any leftover gas, he dumps it on a lot of those Hellions. And these missile turrets, man, look at the range. Woo! They're gonna be able to shut down those medevacs from a distance. And while that's all going on, Jeff is shredding his opponent's units-producing structures, teleporting back whenever he needs to. I mean, he just teleported around with one of them. Oh, there we go. He scans and then he tactical jumps. It's so dirty. Jeff just found out there's another base over here that's 21, 22, 23 kills here on that single Battlecruiser. And the other ones, I mean, they have tactical jump available as well. If they need to, they can retreat at a moment's notice and just go back to safety. And I think, even though Coolio can't quite believe it either, I mean, he was in a phenomenal spot earlier. He was maxed out, mining off of 6 bases versus a Terran that was practically contained on 3 or 4. He's done a phenomenal job in this game, but he did not close it out. I feel like the main improvement for him was definitely that army control, though. It's almost like if you're fighting against mass carrier when you're playing against the Protoss, you know? The reason, or the way you counter it is by just not, you know, allowing them to get to mass carrier. And preventing your opponent in TVT from getting up to mass Battlecruiser is significantly easier. But once they get there, when the sudden Battlecruiser switch arrives, they deal a stupid amount of damage. Well, apparently Coolio doesn't want to, you know, he doesn't want to believe just yet. There we go. Dealing a little bit of damage, then retreating to the other Battlecruisers here as well. Coolio says, GG, well played. Jeff knows he's won a game. And even though he actually could have upgraded a little bit more, that's quite surprising. He was only sitting at +2/+2 there. If he would have got up to +3/+3, these units would have been even more powerful. In particular, you know, like +3 armor works so well against Marine-based forces, right? Just because every single shot of the Marine, and they fire really quickly, is going to be reduced by 1 damage output, which is it's absolutely phenomenal. And obviously, with the way that Battlecruisers fire, all of the little missiles that get shot out also get +1 more damage when you get +3. Compared to +2, so I would have definitely liked to see that one as well. Wonderful game, though. I hope that you enjoyed watching it. Now, if you have an awesome game of StarCraft 2 yourself too, go ahead and submit it to replays@lowko.tv, and I may very well end up casting your game in the future. But for now, I want to thank you for watching. Have an amazing day. Do not forget to smile alright, and I'll see you in the next one.